Polyamory. If you've been called terminally online before, maybe you've heard of this term already. If you're extremely terminally online, like us, you probably already know what it is.
According to Wikipedia, polyamory is the practice of, or the desire for, romantic relationships with more than one partner at the same time, with the informed consent of all partners involved. Some people who identify as polyamorous believe in consensual
But in simple
polyamory,
terms, it's just
conscious
when you're dating
friendship,
multiple
blah blah
people
blah,
as
and it's
opposed
just
to
blah blah
monogamy, where
blah,
you date just
sexual and
one and only.
relational, blah blah
Polyamory allows
blah
you to have
blah,
many one
prerequisite
and
for deep
onlys.
committed, blah 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 blah, preferred to restrict.
Oh, so you want to tell us about those gross swinger guys who just have sex with everyone around, huh?
No, let me explain. Polyamory is not about chaotically changing your sex partners. I mean, some people include that too, I'm not denying that. But reducing everything to the amount of sex they're having is a shallow view of things.
Let's repeat this specific point again. Polyamory is about dating multiple people. If you and your partners decide that you can change sexual partners freely, that's your own business. You can do you. But for most poly folks, that's simply not true. When you start to date multiple people, you form a polycule, basically your own circle of closest date friends, and each polycule is different. Each polycule sets up their own boundaries.
Like, for example, in a polycule formed from an open relationship, this situation with feel free to date anyone, feel free to sex anyone can be a common thing. But in fact, most people have close relationship, which require a discussion if someone wants to date a new person. Like, yeah, can you believe this? Even if you're already dating multiple people, they can be against you dating someone else. And other rules and boundaries are being set as well.
For example, your partners wouldn't mind if you had sex with someone else, maybe, but they would mind if you dated someone else. Your partner might also not mind if you dated their other partner, or they might be against that. If you have one main partner, they could be against you having sexual actions with someone else, but not against you going out with someone and holding hands.
Even your relationships with friends. Some people mind it if you get too close to others you're not dating, and some wouldn't even care if you're making out with them patiently.
It's like, boundaries in monogamous relationships. What? You never heard about boundaries in mono relationships? Man, I think y'all should probably talk to your partners about that.
Anyways, even the basic form of a polycule can be different. In some of them, everyone is dating each other, and in some of them, there's some specific chains and connection with people included. You can date people in your polycule differently too, with one person being your romantic partner and another being your platonic one.
Platonic? Like your bestie? This queer bullshit is so stupid, LMAO.
Platonic dating is not just being friends. You can call it, for example, more than friends but lesser than romance. It's a very specific type of relationship, hard to explain to someone who's never experienced this. It's not like calling someone your best friend, or bro, or pal, or close friend. It's not exactly about how much you're attracted to them. It's like that type of a soft love you experience to someone, not as flaming bright as romantic love, but still important. Oh, and the main partner thing too. Some poly people can have the main relationship, a person they will always stay with and whose opinion about adding others to the polycule is a bit more important than others. But some don't.
Oh, so you're just allowing cheating now? Cheating on your main partner?
No. Cheating is horrible and disgusting. Any sane person would agree. And remember when we talked about boundaries? Well, guess what? You can still violate boundaries even if you're a poly.
If, in your polycules boundaries, you agreed to only date each other, dating someone else is cheating. If your main partner doesn't want you to have sex with other partners and you do that anyway, it's still cheating. If you discussed dating someone else with your partners, they didn't allow you to, and you still did it secretly, it's just cheating.
Consent is important for both poly and mono relationships. So, anyone who says,
Polyamory is just a sneaky way to get away with cheating.
they're a scammer, or someone talking out their ass, or well, they're a cheater themselves. In fact, many people have a strong negative opinion on polyamory because of those fake polyfolks you will see around the internet.
You know those guys, those typical cishet white guys calling himself a daddy for two girls who he doesn't even respect. Or those gross little fellas who go,
Hey, wanna try opening our relationship?
just to be able to fuck everybody around.
We're not talking about those weirdos right now. There is a big difference between relationships where all people consent to what's happening, can discuss their feelings, set up their boundaries, and overall feel comfortable with, and, well, this thing where some girl allows her boyfriend to poly date others just because he wants some more sex and she's scared she'll lose him.
Why are you talking about all this so confidently? Learn this from all of your yaoi fanfics?
I mean, I'm poly myself.
And I'm dating them.
Does that make you poly too?
I'm not sure. It's not like I would mind dating someone else. I just don't want to.
Yeah, no matter how much we love our yaois and yuris, all this great knowledge isn't just coming from funny Tumblr posts. It's also a personal experience. We know all kinds of people, we talk to them, we read stories online, we hear things about other polyfolks, and of course, we have our own relationships as an example.
It's not that hard to comprehend. We're just date friends here.
With the power of setting boundaries, healthy discussions of feelings, and simple trust and care, it all works. And no, it's not like everything was perfect from the start. There was a bit of jealousy at first, and maybe some things we should have discussed earlier. You might be surprised to hear this, but jealousy in poly relationship is not something horrible and sinful. It's just a normal emotion that you should properly talk about to make sure everyone is getting all attention and love they need and want. So yeah, if you want to live an example of working polycule, that's not just a cover for cheating or chaotic sex. Here we are.
And just like any relationship, be it poly or mono, work and effort needs to be put in. There's no proper or wrong way to be in a polyamorous relationship, and there's no good or bad type of poly people. But there are people who call polyamory an absolutely different thing, or just cover their nasty intentions by calling them open relationships or polyamory.
Oh, but you done the right thing by mentioning yaois. Polyamory ships are pretty common in many fandoms nowadays.
Our ancestors could only sigh and whine about, oh, what a hard choice Bella has between a cool and mysterious vampire guy and a fun and hot werewolf. I wonder which one of them she should woo.
Wrong answer. Both. And bring Alice in, I'm sure she's into that. Unlike our ancestors, who've been drawing their one girl plus one boy ships on caves walls, we have the luxury of queer, romantic, platonic, polyamorous, and all other kinds of quirky weird relationships that normies hate so much and call cringe.
Nowadays, nobody would find you that weird for having a poly ship, regardless of whether you're poly yourself. Since a love triangle is one of the most common tropes in romance drama slop, a throuple is the most common form of a polycule ship in fandom. No more Sakura x Naruto or Sakura x Sasuke dilemma. No more Dave John or Dave Cat wars. No more choices between Asuka or Rei for poor boy Shinji. Just slap them all together.
Forming a polycule of characters you think should be together can be a perfect solution if you're, you know, bad at making choices. Polyshipping is no worse than any mono or love triangle option or harem. Uh, let's be honest, anything is better than most basic wish fulfillment harem. Like, literally anything, okay?
And when it comes to people with original characters, oh boy, the complexity of relationships in those can be insane.
But yeah, mostly people use polyshipping to slap their favorite blorbus in situation and see them interacting all together.
Polyamory isn't restricted to a bunch of women dating a man or a bunch of men going after one woman like in those harems. It's often seen in queer circles with a full spectrum of people dating one another. Just like queer identities as well, it's seen largely in modern Western society as non traditional, and many people don't even think of trying it, only knowing random negative stereotypes, swingers, and seeing others around call it adultery.
For most people, their ideal of what romance should be is strongly influenced by media, and in media, it's often loving one person and staying with them forever, like in a fairy tale. But that's where it starts to crack. Because, well, in real life, many people don't love just one person for their whole life. And not just poly people. Even monogamous people often have two, three, five, 10, or even more partners, checking throughout their entire life.
People have different thoughts about polyamory. Some are only okay seeing it in fictional media, some are okay with it in real life but wouldn't want to become poly themselves. Some, well, some people hate it. Just like any queer oriented label, it gets hate and understanding in turn. Many people know only the stereotypes around polyamory, especially the wrong ones. Some know how polyamory actually works and they still dislike it. And some would love to give dating multiple people a try, but they aren't ready for that. It's a complicated example of what are already complicated human relationships, and it's not for everyone.
Just like many, I personally thought polyamory is about cheating, or sex, or weird people for quite a long time in my life before. As I became older, I realized it's just people bad mouthing others because of their own lack of information and understanding. I started to ship characters I like into polycules and my own OCs too. Then I became a poly myself almost 2 years ago. Honestly, it started so suddenly I thought it was a joke at first. And even if it wasn't perfect from the start, just like any relationship, it's an important part of my life now. I genuinely love my partners all in different ways and I know I'm loved back. Having all these people in my life helped me in many ways, including, well, to understand myself better, to become better for people that are so important for me. So, I'm not worried or scared if people consider me weird for that. And oh yeah, they did. Even my best friends didn't understand me at first when I told them. But I know that makes me happy. And that's all that matters for me.
I'm not sure if I would call myself polyamorous, but I'm not going to dismiss the possibility of trying it out myself. It's just that, for now, I only have one very special person for myself that I'm interested in. Some people might just call this getting cooked, but I don't see anything pathetic or bothersome about my partner having partners of their own. Love doesn't stop being special just because someone loves other people in different ways. And it's always going to be different because I know they're having a unique connection with all their partners, me included. Our personal relationship isn't devalued by this.
So, why are we telling all of this to you today? Well, unlike with roleplay, we won't proudly stand here yelling, "It's cool, you all should try it!" Instead, we're here just to tell you about the thing itself, to ruin or to explain some stereotypes, to share our opinion, and to share our experience. Just in hope that people will understand us and other folks like us just a little bit better.
Be kind to each other and love people around, okay?
Yay, yay, Lawrence, yay,
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 love
yay.
wins! Yay!